Hi, I'm Miss Caitlin, and for First Chapter Friday, we're going to be covering the fantasy novel, The Last Fallen Star by Gracie Kim. So Riley O has always felt like an outsider within her family and her community. She was adopted by the O family, and they are part of the Gom clan within the gifted clans of her community. They are the magical healers. But Riley is a Saram, which means that despite knowing the spells better than her sister, she doesn't have any powers. And her sister is about to be initiated as a full-fledged member, which means that she'll be able to use her powers without adult supervision. And her sister is fearless and angry that the council has not allowed Riley to gain any powers, despite the fact that she's been part of the community her whole life. So she decides that at her initiation, she is going to do a dangerous spell where she will be able to share her abilities with Riley so that Riley can prove herself to the council and to her whole community. But this choice has dire consequences, and Riley and her best friend Emmett are going to have to do the impossible. They're going to have to find the last fallen star in order to save her sister. So this is a book that's steeped in Korean mythology, so if you're a fan of any of Rick Riordan's books or Arusha and Tristan Strong, this might be the perfect book for you. But if that's not incentive enough to give this book a try, I'm going to read the first chapter, and hopefully that'll make you want to pick up a copy. Chapter 1, My Family of Healing Witches. So here's the thing. There are only 2 days left until my sister's initiation ceremony. In 2 sleeps, Hattie will turn 13, and she will have to prove to the entire congregation of gifted clans in Los Angeles that she has what it takes to become a witch. A healing witch. A real Gom. And she's going to be amazeballs, of course. I mean, it's her birthright. Healing magic flows in her blood as it flows through our parents' blood because we, the Gom clan, are descendants of the cave bear goddess, the patron goddess of service and sacrifice. Well, except me. Yep, my own 13th birthday is only a month away, but unlike my Uma, that's my mom, or my Appa, that's my dad, or my sister, I'm a normal non-gifted person without a lick of magic. I'm a Saram. I was adopted, and don't get me wrong, my parents try super hard to make me feel part of the gifted community, and I love them so much for it. But the truth is, the harder they try, the more I realize how much of an outsider I really am. I'm different. Hence why I'm here, sitting behind the reception desk of the traditional Korean medicine clinic that my parents run, doing mind-numbing data entry instead of practicing healing spells like my sister. The bells chime on the clinic's door, and I jolt up in my chair as an old dark-haired man limps in. He looks like he could be Korean, but I don't think I've ever seen him at temple. Welcome to the clinic, I say. How can I help you? Good morning, he says, wincing as he wobbles up to the desk. My name is Robert Chow. I just moved here from New York, and I was told to ask for a James or an Una O. I think I've sprained my ankle. He slides his wrists together, and the water in his G, the cylindrical glass charm on his bracelet, sloshes a little as it rubs against his skin. An image of 2 suns and 2 moons appear on his right wrist with the motion, and the symbol glows green. Ah, he's a Toki, an infusing witch. All witches get the same gifted mark on their wrists when they do magic, but it reveals itself in different colors depending on which clan they belong to. The mark is also how we can tell which patients are gifted and which are Saram. If they're Saram, we have to make sure they don't know we heal with magic. The infusers make special memory erasing potions for that. I know what you're thinking. Why would we keep such an awesome skill secret from the world? Well, Appa says if the Saram found out about the gifted clans, that would bring grave danger to our community. People don't like what they can't understand. It scares them, and scared people do foolish things. I guess that makes sense. You've come to the right place, I said, smiling brightly. James and Una are my parents, and I'm sorry to hear about your ankle, Mr. Chow. Appa has just finished up with a patient, and there's a free slot for you now if you'd like it. Ah, you must be Hattie, he nods knowingly at me. I hear you have an initiation ceremony coming up. I hope you are well prepared. I shake my head. Hattie's actually my sister. I'm not, well, I can't. I trail off and Mr. Chow frowns. That's odd. They said the O's only had 1 daughter. Oof. The comet spears right through my chest, but I stay silent and put on a well-rehearsed fake smile. What I'd really like to do right now is to take out my G bracelet, if I had one, and heal his ankle right here and now to prove how much of an O I really am. Or at least stand up for myself and tell him I'm part of this family too. That's what Hattie would do if she were in my place. But I'm not my sister. I'm not brave like she is. I prefer to keep my head down and stay out of trouble. Trust me, it's easier this way. A warm hand squeezes my shoulder and I look back to see Appa standing behind me. I didn't hear him come to reception. This is Riley, most definitely our daughter, and the most dedicated Gom I know. Appa beams at me and then extends his hand to Mr. Chow. Welcome to our humble clinic, Robert, and welcome to LA. Come with me and let's get that ankle looked at. Appa leads the hobbling Mr. Chow down the hallway and a stinging heat builds up behind my eyes. Yet another day in the life of Riley O, the wannabe witch living in an exclusive, gifted world. Riley! Hattie runs up to the reception desk, puts her elbows on it, and rests her chin on her palms. Her rounded cheeks are pink, and her hair is damp with sweat. Please come save me. Uma is driving me up the wall. She's making me repeat the incantations a billion times, and I don't even know what they mean anymore. I mean, honestly, what are words even? She just wants you to do well at the initiation. Hattie rolls her eyes, but she knows I'm right. A successful initiation ceremony is the most important rite of passage in a witch's life. She's got to perform 3 spells that satisfy the elders in the Gifted Clans Council, and then say her vows in front of the whole congregation at Temple. That's hundreds of people from 5 different clans, not to mention our patron goddess, who will be watching from the God Realm. Then, and only then, will Hattie get to wear her G around her wrist without adult supervision. Without it, she can't do any magic. So basically, it's a big deal. I mean, no pressure or anything. Hattie fiddles with the earth-filled charm that's attached to a gold chain around her wrist. Uma usually keeps my sister's G in her enchanted safe, and Hattie only gets to wear it when she's practicing spells with our parents. Okay, but can you come with me anyway? Uma's all cranky and flustered and I need moral support. Please? I make a serious face and pretend to be preoccupied with the patient database. I'm kind of busy. Pretty please? She gets all up in my face and makes big puppy dog eyes at me. You can have my favorite sweater, and I'll do all your chores for a week. Come on, Rye, have a heart. I hold off as long as I can before laughing. Okay, you twisted my arm. I push her sweaty mug away. Just wanted to see you beg. Looks good on you. You'll pay for that. She slaps me on the shoulder but grins, and then drags me out of my chair and down the hall to Uma's consultation room. Uma is inside, pacing back and forth while holding the family spellbook up to her nose. Her glasses are foggy and her black perm is bouncing like a halo around her head. Hattie, there you are. Now come back and practice the wound closing incantation again. She points her finger at a Korean word in her spellbook. And remember, this time the P is aspirated. So don't be shy, put your whole diaphragm in it. Puh, puh, see? Like this, puh. Hattie drags her palms down her cheek and gives me an exasperated look. I stifle a laugh. Uma is in fine form today. She pulls off the plug into a wall socket and dresses for the week look better than anyone I know. As Hattie reluctantly follows Uma's lead to exasperate her puh, I study their 2 faces, and for the billionth time, I wish I looked more like them. I'm told my biological parents were of Korean ethnicity too, but that's about where the similarities end. My Gom fam are round, petite, and unblemished. I'm tall and freckled. I'm all pointy chin and high cheekbones, with more angles than curves. I'm the one people raise their eyebrows at when they look at our family photos. Before I know it, my eyes are burning and I quickly wipe them, embarrassed. Ugh. Classic me. This is what my best friend Emmett calls my leaky bladder eyeball problem. You see, I have a slight issue controlling my tears. When I'm sad, I cry. When I'm angry, I cry. When I'm frustrated, I cry. I'm basically really talented at crying. Hattie says it's a good thing, that I'm in touch with my feelings, more like drowning in them. And Uma and Appa say I'll grow out of it, but let's face it, compared to my confident as composed family, I'm flawed. It's yet another piece of evidence that I'm not a true O, that I'm weak and don't belong. Uma has now prompted Hattie to practice her vows, and my sister reluctantly obeys. I vow in the name of Magohalmi, mother of the 3 realms, mother of the 6 goddesses, mother of mortal kind and all creation. Hattie's lisp is making an appearance, which only happens when she's tired or stressed. To carry out my sacred duty to heal those in need, to uphold the Gom clan motto of service and sacrifice. And she trails off, forgetting the words, and I finish the sentence for her. And I understand that with my gift comes great responsibility to my clan, to the gifted community, and to our ancestor, the cave bear goddess, who blesses us with her divine power. I might not have a G or magic running through my veins, but I know my stuff. Hattie gives me a grateful look. Thanks, she mouths. She put her hands on her hip. See, Oma? Riley is so much more ready for an initiation than I'll ever be. Have you spoken to Auntie Oka about Rai being allowed to do one too? Stick my hand in my pocket and squeeze my onyx stone to calm my nerves. It's shaped like a curved teardrop, and it's the only thing my biological parents left me. Hattie thinks it might be a family heirloom or something, but I just like how cold and real it feels in my hand. It's only a stone and not nearly as cool as a G, but sometimes I carry it with me because touching it reminds me that I came from somewhere too. Sorry, girls, your Appa and I have been trying to find a good time to tell you. Uma sighs. Auntie Oka tried really hard, but the other elders just won't budge. I lower my eyes, mostly to hide the new trickle of disappointment forming on my eyeline. My stupid leaky bladder eyeballs fail me again. Oh, that's okay, I say, even though that's far from the truth. Thank you for trying. Hattie raises her eyebrows at me. No, it's not okay. She turns to Uma. You and Appa are always pushing for more inclusivity in the gifted community. This is the perfect opportunity to make a statement, isn't it? Uma looks sheepish. You're absolutely right, but change takes time. Some of the clans aren't as progressive as we are. They're arguing that without a G, Riley wouldn't be able to cast the spells anyway. And if the council can't witness the spells during the initiation, they can't make a fair assessment. I shrink, but Hattie pushes back. But that's the whole point. Riley knows the words to all of the healing spells, back to front. The council just gave her a chance to prove herself. Maybe the goddess would be convinced and grant Rai a G, too. She rolls her eyes. They've got it all backward. I understand, sweetheart. You know I do. The other elders think it's asking too much of the god realm to bless the Sauron with magic. That it would be impertinent of us. Disrespectful, even. Your auntie is only one voice among 5. Hattie raises her hands in exasperation, and I want to melt into the floor and disappear. I hate being the reason they argue. Seriously, it's okay, Hat. I start trying to call my sister. What's disrespectful is not even giving Riley a chance, Hattie continues. If she tanks the initiation and the cave bear goddess doesn't give her a G, that's fine. Or if Riley doesn't want to do it, then that's also fine. But not giving her the freedom to choose, that's wrong on so many levels. When Uma doesn't respond, Hattie squeezes my hand and a determined look appears on her face. I call it her boss face because no one in their right mind would mess with Hattie when she's wearing that expression. As soon as I'm old enough, she says, I'm going to run for Gom Elder. And when I do, mark my words, I'm going to shake up that place. The whole secret society thing is so outdated. I have no doubt you will achieve that and so much more, Uma says, and I totally agree. I mean, why stop at council elder? Hattie for president. See the enamel pins already. I squeeze Hattie's hand back and feel a warmth spread through my chest. For everything I don't have, I definitely won the jackpot as far as my sister goes. She's literally the best sister ever. It's a shame you can't just do a spell to share your magic, I joke, trying to lighten the mood. One where the recipient doesn't need a G. That would solve all of our problems. A grin spreads over Hattie's face. Crowdsourced magic. Now that would jolt the clans into the 21st century, right, Uma? We both look at Uma and she laughs nervously. Hattie and I share a glance. Uma only laughs like that when she's hiding something. No way, Hattie says. There actually is a spell for sharing magic with a Sauron, isn't there? My jaw falls to the ground, impossible. Uma mumbles something under her breath, but still avoids our eyes, and that is a dead giveaway. It's not that simple, girls, she finally admits. It's dangerous, and even if it worked, it wouldn't be permanent. The spell would have to be redone again and again. What's the name of the spell? Hattie interrupts, and where can we find it? And were you ever going to tell me about it? I silently ask, my gut rolling into a tight knot. Uma closes the spellbook in her hand with a decisive thud. This conversation has gone on long enough. She looks at the clock on the wall and gasps. And we're going to be late for temple. Quick, go get your Appa. We're leaving in 2. She hurries us out of her consultation room and I get my butt moving. I wouldn't miss temple for anything. Right. Hattie stops me in my track and grabs my arm. Did you see Uma glance at the book when I asked where we could find the spell? I shake my head. I hadn't noticed. I was too busy wondering why my parents had kept this from me when they knew how badly I wanted to become a witch. I know that book's only supposed to have healing spells in it, Hattie continues, but maybe Uma just told us that so that we wouldn't snoop. Maybe the magic sharing spell is in there too. I mean, I'm sure of it. Where else could it be? I frown. We're not allowed to touch the family spellbook, not until Uma and Appa deem us ready. And besides, breaking rules makes me erupt in hives. But Hattie, I start, you know I was joking before, right? Even if the spell is in there, I can never ask you to share your magic. Besides, Uma said it was dangerous. She wouldn't lie about something like that. She snorts. Who said I wanted your permission? Didn't you hear me drone on about choice before? If I want to share my magic with you, who are you to stop me? I stare at her, wondering what I ever did to deserve such a fearless sister. Hattie lowers her voice and there's an excited twinkle in her eye. Looks like we need to get our sticky hands on a certain spellbook, wouldn't you say? She dragged me to Appa's consultation room to fetch him. I hear a small voice in my head. Could I actually become a healing witch? A real gom? Could this be my chance to do my parents proud and prove to the gifted community that I belong? I know I shouldn't get my hopes up. It'd just be a recipe for disappointment. Here's the real crux of the problems, folks. I, Riley O, have a sweet tooth. And hope, well, hope tastes sweeter than candy. So if that intrigued you and you want to find out what Riley and Hattie end up doing, you could pick up a copy of The Last Fallen Star by Gracie Kim at the Royal Public Library today.